Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of this season of the Fantasy Football League of Legends podcast. This week, we are going to be doing a mock draft. It is Chip, Jordan, and I.
Hello.
Okay, Jordan,
Yeah.
fire away and hit stream when you get to the draft screen, so I can record it for the viewers.
All right. I'm going live. You got that? See it?
I see it.
All right. So let's start the draft and hope the bots fill in, or else it's gonna be an interesting draft.
All right, we are.
Yeah, it looks like there are the teams did fill in.
Perfect.
So I got the number one pick, which is
Oh,
crazy because I hit random.
I have the number 3 pick.
And it looks like Chip's at the 4, so you guys are drafted next to each other. So yeah, we're just gonna do this as if there's no keepers. My first pick, I mean, you got to go Christian McCaffrey, I think.
Really? Okay.
In a PPR league, Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he's one of those running backs where you know he's going to get his receptions and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that's who I went with.
Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase are most likely going to be kept, but I think at this point, and I've been seeing some other buzz about this. People going for Travis Kelce first, no matter what, if he's on the board. So I'm gonna pick him up.
It's a bold
Hey,
strategy, Jeremy.
It's a really bold strategy. I'm gonna go with. I think this is a wide receiver league at this point, just like last year. I'm going with Chase.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and then Chase was followed up by it went Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, and Garrett Wilson. Oh, am I the 12th pick?
You are.
So I wasn't the first pick.
You the second pick? I don't know.
I don't know. So let's say I have the 12th. This is weird. Why do I have 2 picks?
This is very strange.
Second round. Yeah.
It should be, but it still says 1.12. So I don't
All
know.
right. Well, we're gonna go with it. So at this point, it's I want to go wide receiver here, but it's tough. It's tough. Stefon Diggs is going to get the most volume, so I think if he lasts to the end of the first round, which he's not going to in our league, but at this point, I mean, he's a good draft pick. And I'm on the clock again. I don't know how.
You can't pass up. I mean, either Amon-Ra St. Brown and AJ. I'm not gonna tell you what I would do, but I think there's a pretty.
If Bijan's on the board right here,
He won't
it's hard
be.
to pass up Bijan Robinson.
He won't be. Yeah, I would have taken him too.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, then, yikes. Ooh.
Well, let's see who went. So it went Bijan, Nick Chubb,
Yeah.
Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's one of those guys I see rising up the rankings pretty recently. So
Yep.
That's be interesting to see.
That's rough. That's a rough set of guys that I have. I only have one pick right now? Like, have I only picked one guy?
Yeah,
This is round 2.
What the heck? Okay. So I better go for a running back. I'm going to go with Najee, even though...
You're going to get burned by Najee again?
I mean, this isn't our real league. So I just don't want this team to not have a good running back. So
Najee is one of those guys that's going to get carries, and you know that.
Yeah.
So Jeremy's in an interesting spot right here. He could snag the top 2 tight ends with his first 2 picks.
I think at this point, I'm going to. Let me see here. I mean, at this point, if I have Kelsey, I'm all set there.
He is the positional advantage that you have in fantasy football.
I think I think at this point I need to prioritize whether I would just try and have a deep wide receiver bench or have a running back that can put up double digits, and I think I want to take Josh Jacobs. Contract stuff doesn't really scare me.
I think that's the pick right there too. Josh Jacobs. I think he's going to play. I think he's going to get a lot of work this season, especially with Jimmy Garoppolo taking over that offense.
Yep. Wow, Gibbs shows up.
All right,
Interesting.
Jeremy's back on the clock.
My pick
Um,
again. Hmm.
after Jacobs, Waddle went, then Mahomes, the first quarterback off the board, then
Yep.
Mark Andrews and Ramondre Stevenson. And Jeremy takes Jahmyr
I
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
have
That's a
faith in
good
him.
pick right there, I think. I think that's a
Gibbs is
good
one
pick
of
right there.
I love Gibbs. I think in our league especially because we go running back early. Two, we're from Michigan.
Yeah.
Um, I think Gibbs is going to go earlier than a lot of other leagues.
No, I agree.
Bonus value, because if you get him early and he gets hot during the season, people in this Detroit friendly league they're gonna want him on their teams.
Yeah, they are. I think I'm going Allen here. I feel like if Mahomes goes, then Allen's right after that.
All right, so let's recap real quick. Jeremy went Jahmyr Gibbs, Chip went Josh Allen. That was followed by Chris Olave and Keenan Allen, and then Jalen Hurts, ETN, Devontae Smith, T. Higgins, and DK Metcalf. So those are the top three quarterbacks off the board. So at this point, there's only really one or two more quarterbacks that I would take high up, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I got Bijan and Stephon Diggs. I think this is a good spot to go wide receiver or even running back. I feel like I do have two picks in a row right here, so I can balance it out. But really, there's only, in my eyes, three more running backs in that upper tier, and then there's kind of a big drop off. Um, so with this pick, I think I'm gonna go wide receiver first, and I think Amari Cooper's gonna have a big year. I think there's no way Deshaun Watson is as bad as he is last year. Um, and then looking at this, tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Darren Waller. Um, I think if I had a later fourth round pick, I might take one of those. But there's still a running back or two that I like, so I'm gonna go with Miles Sanders. And that was followed by Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, Lamar Jackson, Alexander Madison, Damian Pierce, Kenneth Walker, and J.K. Dobbins. So a big run of running backs right there.
Pretty rough.
Um, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I didn't think another good running back would make it back to me. So,
Right.
so Chip, what's going
Yikes.
through your mind right here?
So I haven't had many picks. I've only picked three guys, and it's the fourth round. So it's
Well,
I'm
that's
look.
usually how it works. In the fourth round, is your fourth pick.
I'm just saying this is kind of a rough go here. So I need a running back. I need a wide receiver. Um, there's nothing on the board here that is like
You could go
at
tight end
all. Uh,
or
I could
kicker.
go. Nah, I'm gonna go with a wide receiver that I could trust to do okay. Debo.
Oh, damn it!
Devo.
Yep.
I was gonna
Yep.
go
Yep.
for Debo for sure.
Yep.
Debo in the fourth. I mean, Debo went way higher last year. It's kind of interesting to
Yeah.
see how he fell. And look at these running backs that went in the fourth round in this draft. Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Alexander Madison. I mean, these are all guys that are running back ones on their team, but lasting to the fourth round is going to be kind of surprising if that happens in our league. All
So
right.
definitely got to take a running back here. Uh, I've seen some clips of Deontay Johnson out of training camp, and he's looking
At
pretty
the wide receiver
impressive.
position?
What's that?
At the wide receiver position?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think I'd probably be able to take him next one if I just didn't give you guys that hot tip. I'll go Calvin Ridley. Drake
Calvin
London.
Ridley's one of those guys that has a high ceiling. I feel like he very well has the capability to have a great season, especially with Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball. So when Calvin Ridley, Drake London, who I'm pretty high on this year, Terry McLaurin, Cam Akers, Deontay Johnson, and Jeremy's back on the clock. You just missed out on your guy by a pick. So Jeremy, what's your team looking like right now?
So I have Josh Jacobs and Jahmyr Gibbs at the running back position, so I'm pretty set there. I have a Calvin Ridley at wide receiver. I could
And
double
then
up
you
and
have
take
Kelsey.
those and go old school. Uh, Oh man, DeAndre Hopkins in there doesn't look good to me. But I could go old school, wait late on the quarterback. But Joe Burrow's on there. I'm gonna pick him up because I've had underwhelming quarterbacks for the past couple of years, and it's not been fun.
You didn't take your guy Justin Fields, huh?
No, I think Joe Burrow probably is gonna throw the ball more and throw more touchdowns. Certainly. Um, so yeah, a little worried about Justin Fields health wise as well with that offensive line. But I've heard rumors of it getting better.
Yeah. Chip, what's your team looking like right now?
Uh, it it's kind of rough. I've got Allen, Najee, Jamar Chase, and Debo. So I need another running back here. And there's not a whole lot of running backs, but at this point, I mean, Kamara is suspended for 3 games.
Yep.
Who knows what's going to happen with Swift? Montgomery is not going to be the starter in Detroit, but even though he's listed here, I don't know. Um, Yikes! I'm not even confident about this, but James Conner, I guess.
All right. So when James Conner, then James Cook. I don't think he's going to go that early in our league, but who knows? TJ
Yep.
Hawkinson, Darren Waller, Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Fields, Christian Watson,
Yeah.
and then it's back to me.
Yep.
So looking at my team, I got Bijan Robinson, Miles Sanders, Stephon Diggs, and Amari Cooper. So I have a pretty good balance right now. Uh, could go tight end here. Kittle and Kyle Pitts are on the board, who I really like. I like Evan Ingram a lot. Looking at the running backs, Javonte Williams, I want to see more out of him first, come back from that injury. Kamara, I could pick. I'd have to wait 3 weeks. And then I don't trust Rashad White right now. So let's take a look at quarterback. Couple good options there. Herbert and Lawrence probably both gonna have good years. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get some depth with someone who I think is gonna have a good season and who's gonna be the wide receiver one with DJ Moore. And then I do have another pick after that, and I'm gonna go with my breakout quarterback of the year, fantasy wise, Trevor Lawrence.
That's a good bet.
So I did Trevor Lawrence. That was followed by Justin Herbert, Jerry Jeudy, Javonte Williams, George Kittle, Christian Kirk, Brandon Ayuk. I think Ayuk's gonna have a good season. Deshaun Watson, and now Chip's back on the board.
It's kind of rough. So,
You do have
wow.
some options there for running back if you want some depth.
Yeah, I want to point out that according to this, that our wide receivers are now in tier 5 zone. So like they have gone pretty quick. Tier 4 zone for running backs, and the tight ends are starting to go too. So yikes. I'm going tight end, and I'm
Tight
going to
end,
go with Ingram on this one at this point.
I like Ingram a lot this year. I
Yeah.
think Ingram's gonna have a big season.
Yep.
So my strategy this year is to try and get 2 solid starting running backs. I think if I can make it out of the draft with 2 starting running backs, which is something I've not had the luxury of doing in years past, I think I'll be pretty satisfied. And I know that it's projecting we're in later rounds of wide receivers. Our wide receivers are going quick. I still think there's going to be more value in the flex position for wide receivers than there is going to be for running backs. So I'm going to go Mike Williams.
All right, Mike Williams, Kyle Pitts, Alvin Kamara. Kamara going that late is a like that wouldn't have happened a year or two ago.
So
Um, Mike Evans, Daniel Jones, and Jeremy's back on the clock.
I'm just going to pick up wide receivers, gamble with ones that'll have breakout weeks, and see if I can get
Tyler
some
Lockett's
value
one of
out of him too.
Lockett's one of those guys that always seems to find his way into some good weeks. He doesn't get injured, goes down before he gets hit. I mean, good pickup. Chips back on the board. Looks like
Yeah,
so
I think
you,
right here, for a flex player, I think Swift is not a bad flex in Philly. So I'm going Swift.
DeAndre Swift, Marquise Brown. I wish Marquise Brown would have got back to me. He could be a wide receiver one this year. Dak Prescott, Rashad White, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Michael Pittman, George Pickens. Now it's back to me. All right, so I'm looking here. Looking at wide receivers, no one I love. Looking at running backs, no one I love either. Um, so this is where it gets tough, these middle rounds where you don't know what
Yeah.
depth to go with. Um, Dallas Goedert lasting this long, that's good value. He's probably going to finish up high. Um, but I think I can get a tight end that I like even better after that. So I'm gonna go with the wide receiver. He's gonna have a good year, Jahan Dotson. Um, him and McLaurin, I think they're gonna have a little bit more quarterback stability this year. So we'll see how that goes. And then I forget it's back to me again. And see, this is where it sucks because I won't be drafting for a while. So I mean, I'm gonna take the best tight end on the board, Dallas Goedert. And I think the tight end, if my tight end comes back to me, I'll take him too. All right, so went Dallas Goedert, Antonio Gibson, Jordan Addison, JSN, David Montgomery, Traylon Burks, San Francisco 49ers defense, Khalil Herbert. Now it's back to
Yeah.
Chip.
Yeah, I don't. Yikes! This is kind of rough. I think. Yeah, you're right though. Like looking at all these players that are left, there's nobody that really stands out that you have to have.
Yeah. You're just looking for upside now. You're looking for upside at this point.
Yeah, you're. Yeah. So, yikes. Um, I'm going with Kansas City's running back,
Pacheco? Pacheco?
Pacheco. Yeah, Pacheco.
Chip once again stocking up on running backs. Believe that was
Stocking.
his fourth. Can never have enough.
No.
Jeremy, it's back to you.
Who'd they take? Oh wait, no, that's just Chip was the last one.
Yep.
I'm gonna go. Hmm.
Yeah, really thinking about it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to like figure out. I'll go AJ Dillon. I think they're gonna have to run the ball a lot, and they're not gonna want to put it all on Jones every single play.
All right,
Rookie
so an AJ
quarterback.
Dillon, Brian Robertson Jr., Devon H.A., or whatever you say his name, Jamal Williams, Rashad Penny. Um, Now it's back to Jeremy.
That is an unfortunate photo for my boy Zach Charbonnet. I'll pick up Brandon Cooks because why the hell not?
It's an unfortunate picture.
Oh,
They could have gotten a retake there, but
yeah.
Brandon Cooks is going to get a lot of work in Dallas this year. Opposite C.D. Lamb and Michael Gallup. I think he's a good pickup this late. All right,
Man,
Chip, what are you
I
thinking?
I do not know. I feel like I need another wide receiver, but there's just nobody, like absolutely nobody, at this point in the ninth round here. Um,
Like I said, it's about upside.
it is. So I'm gonna fly with Juju and see what he does in New England here.
He's probably the
That's
wide receiver one on that team. So
maybe.
when, well, besides Devontae Parker, but it went Juju, Kadarius Toney, Cortland Sutton, Pittsburgh Steelers defense, Zach Charbonnet, Odell Beckham Jr., Michael Thomas, Elijah Moore, and now it's back to me. Um, let's see. I always like depth at the running back position. I don't see anyone I love. Um, but I feel like in Denver, Javonte Williams, at least for the first couple weeks, they might be trying to ease him back into action coming off that injury. It's amazing he's playing already. So I'm gonna go P Ryan. Um, and then I always like having more wide receivers than I need. And I always like betting on young wide receivers, and Zay Flowers has looked really good in camp, so I'm going Zay Flowers.
wow.
So Zay Flowers was followed by Nico Collins, Sky Moore, Gabe Davis, Damian Harris, Ezekiel Elliott, Rashad Bateman, Jameson Williams. Um,
Uh,
I mean, Jameson Williams is like someone you got to keep on your team. He's always the big play kind of guy if he plays. Um, so now Chip, it's back to you.
yep.
Justin Tucker still on the board.
Young Hoku is also still on the board.
Young
Young Live
Hoku is a
Star.
favorite. Yikes. This is brutal at this point. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing on this board. All right.
You can grab another quarterback. I mean, Tua's up there.
Yeah, I do like
You need
Tua.
a backup for your backup.
I need a back. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep stocking, I think. Stocking up. I'm
Keeping
going
running back?
yeah. I'm going McKinnon. I already have the other KC, so whoever ends up running it more, I'll just have as a flex filler.
I like McKinnon a lot. He's one of those
Yep.
guys that always has the touchdown ability. So
Always.
I,
Always,
I like
always.
McKinnon.
You know,
Yep.
I hate to say it, I was really down on him last year. He greatly disappointed me, but as just a garbage time pick, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Elijah Mitchell. Lots of the AI going for defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
have a
fun.
feeling that will not happen in our actual
No.
draft. I think
it
defense.
is nice though. San Francisco is really the only defense I could see that happening with.
Right.
It's nice to have a plug and play defense, and their first 4 weeks are pretty favorable for them. I prefer like streaming defenses and playing the matchups and playing the weather. So
All
Jeremy
right.
went
So
Quentin Johnston.
To what extent do you play the weather? Because I feel like I get burned trying to play the weather. Like it's
If my kicker is somewhere, or I mean, teams that play in domes tend to score more points. It's
Yeah.
statistically speaking. Um, so I mean, I always check the little icon on Yahoo.
Yeah, like if it's predicting hail, I'm not gonna hope
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers throws for 5 touchdowns.
right. All right,
oh,
Chip.
this one I'm gonna go with a reach here and just hope that somehow Lazard hooks up with his old quarterback somehow in New York. So we're gonna go with that.
All right, so I went Lazard, then Fryermuth, then Jeff Wilson, Adam Thielen, Dallas Cowboys, Kenneth Gainwell, Romeo Dobbs, Rondale Moore, and Rondale Moore would have been my pick if it would have got to me. So I'm kind of upset about that. Um, all right, so my turn. I'm gonna do something I never do, and that's take a second tight end.
Whoa.
I think David Njoku is gonna have a really good year. He's one of my breakout players. I think again, I hate taking another Cleveland player, but Deshaun Watson he can't be as bad as last year. So
That's a really good way to think about it.
yeah.
It couldn't have been any
Um,
worse.
and I'm also going to take a running back that I'm kind of high on, who's right now a backup, but might get some goal line work and might take over if ETN misses some time. And he has a cool name, so I'm taking Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby, that's pretty sick.
All right,
Good.
so it went Tank Bigsby, Tyler Higbee, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, Jonathan Mingo, Deontay Foreman, Jalen Hyatt, Roshan Johnson, and now Chip.
Yeah. Yikes. There is not a whole lot in terms of running backs, or I would do that. I mean, the Lions
Justin
didn't
Tucker's on
want
the board.
Shark. All right, I'm gonna go with Hunter Renfro and just hope that maybe somehow he does something. I guess again, maybe.
I think Hunter Renfro is a good week 10. You have 2 injured wide receivers. You need someone to put up 6
Just throw him
points.
in. Put him
Jeremy
in there.
loves Hunter Renfro,
I'm a
like more
big
He
than
was
fan.
anyone
great.
else.
What, like 2 seasons ago or whatever? He
He
was
had some
great.
breakout games late in the season.
Yeah.
Jeremy taking Darnell Mooney, then Geno Smith, Tyler Boyd, Devil Singletary, Jalen Warren, and now it's back to Jeremy. I see a lot of green on that board, a lot of wide receivers, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm just rolling the dice.
Always better to
Right.
have too many than not enough.
Yeah, just want a pocket full of wide receivers.
Yep.
4, 5, 6.
Right. This is going to be a really big reach, but I'm going with Patterson on this one. Flexibility, but also he may not be on Atlanta, so some random team might pick him up.
True.
And he could potentially do amazing things on a bad team. So
All right. So after Cordero Patterson, it went New Orleans Saints, Chuba Hubbard, Zay Jones, Tua, Keandre Miller. Miller would have been my pick. CEH, Jerome Ford. Let's see what's on the board here. All right. So what I'm looking at, no running backs really stand out to me. I'm thinking about doing something that I again never do, which is take a second quarterback. But I'm open for the breakout, so I'm taking Anthony Richardson. Um, and then I'm also going to take a wide receiver. Dallas's offense is always throwing the ball a ton, although they do have a new coordinator, so maybe they'll change that. But I'd like Michael Gallup a lot. Um, so it went Michael Gallup, and then Justin Tucker, Daniel Carlson, Patriots. I'm not even going to say that tight end's name. Greg Dulcich, Aaron Rodgers, Dalton Kincaid. Kincaid's one of those guys that they're using a lot in Buffalo who might end up being more of a wide receiver than a tight end, so that'll be interesting to see. And it's back to Chip. 2 picks left.
Oh, Kansas City Chiefs on the defense.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull the number 1 backup quarterback you can have.
Who's
Jared
that,
Goff.
Jared?
Oh, interesting.
All right, so then I went Sam Laporta, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Jason Myers, Evan McPherson. Back to Jeremy with his final pick. Any thoughts going? Oh, Gus Edwards. All right.
Gus Edwards, good
I'll
good
pick
choice.
up a defense and a kicker later on.
That's
And
my
that puts
strategy
me
always.
in my perfect spot for my favorite kicker, Young
Young Ho.
Hoku.
Chip, look at all the
Oh.
kickers that are going.
The perfect setup.
They're all going.
And
They
with
all
the
went
final,
right after Young Ho.
With the final
with the
pick
final
of the
pick,
2023 Fantasy League of
I
Legends draft, Jordan
I am
selects
going to take DJ Chark.
DJ
I knew it. I
Chark.
knew it.
Wow, I
Nice.
had a great rating because if you don't take a kicker or it must be the way they calculated it. I bet if you don't take a kicker or a defense, they just add up all the points together and don't weight them, which is the opposite of what Yahoo does, where if you don't take a kicker and a defense, you have a terrible draft rating because
They
the
crush you.
projection is
Yeah.
0
Right.
for the route.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so let's go over our teams real quick, and then we can wrap it up
Sure.
if you want.
Yes.
Chip, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So.
Sure.
Oh, Chip. Go ahead.
Oh.
I thought he said.
Sorry.
I spoke at the same time. Please go ahead.
Okay, so this draft wizard gave me a B, 84 out of 100. I have Josh Allen at quarterback, Najee Harris, James Conner, Jamar Chase, Debo Samuel, Engram as my tight end, Swift as my flex, Kansas City Chiefs as defense, and then Young Ho Koo, and a bunch of randos on the bench. So it was that's a rough draft for me, for sure.
And what spot did you have? The 9 spot?
I think so, but it just started flying.
Yeah, I can look at the draft board.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, Chip was in the 4 spot. You're in the 4 spot. Yep.
Oh,
and I was
okay.
in the 12th.
Yep.
All right. So would you be happy? You wouldn't be happy leaving the draft like that. I mean, you got some
No.
good players, but your bench might be a little weak.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
I don't really like this team at all. This
I
would
think
be
you're-
okay. The league would kick me out because this is the kind of team that I'd be so unhappy with. The trades would be flying immediately, like immediately. I wouldn't even wait to see what I've got because I already know what I've got. You know, it's that kind of because I've already had some of these players. I don't like some of these players. I want them gone. Like I traded Swift for a reason. Najee Harris is a nightmare. Like there's just a lot there. So I'd keep Koo.
yeah, I'm good.
You got Josh Allen down there, round 3.
Josh Allen. I'd keep Josh Allen. Yeah.
Debo, round 4 is not terrible.
No.
All right.
I mean, James Conner's a touchdown scorer, but yeah, Jamie, go ahead.
I got Joe Burrow at Cube. I got Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, running back, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Lockett, wide receiver, Travis Kelce, number 1. I got Mike Williams at my flex. Probably switch him out for people like Brandon Cooks, Quentin Johnson, A.J. Dillon, and then Jared Goff, who I think is probably the best backup quarterback I could hope for. I think that's a good. If you have a backup quarterback, Jared Goff likes to throw touchdowns. You got Darnell Mooney, Elijah Mitchell, Raheem Morset, and Gus Edwards. So I think I did a pretty good balance uh,
Mhm.
of. I think I got a pretty good value. I gave me a 96 out of 100 rating, which is better than any
Wow.
fantasy draft I've ever done before. But again, that may have something to do with how it calculates kicker and defense point distribution.
I would say that Jeremy's one of those types of teams that I like to say is a home run hitter team. Because I mean, Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Calvin Ridley, and Tyler Lockett, all of the big playability, and so does Mike Williams. But they also have the ability to go quiet for a game. So I could easily see that team scoring like 250 points or scoring like 60.
And then leave me high and
Um,
dry the rest of the.
as long as you make it to the playoffs, man, you just need to hope that they're more 250 point games than 60 ones.
Yeah.
Um, I I mean Travis Kelce, biggest positional advantage, and then pairing that with Joe Burrow and Josh Jacobs, I think that's great. I think your team has very high upside, is what I should say.
Yeah. I'd be pretty happy with this team.
Now you do have to watch out. All of your players have a bye on week 9, but
Yeah,
that's
we're
okay.
just going to chalk that one up to an L. Hope
All
I
right,
play
so
Chip's decimated team. Traded away and bet the house on people you never heard of.
I don't when I draft, I don't care about the bye weeks. I don't know if
no,
anyone
I
else
don't
is like
either.
that. You have to pick the best player for that moment. You just can't look at that at all. You just
I
can't.
also don't, I don't mind when I or someone else reaches for a person that they want. Like if you're gonna get your guy, go get him. Um, like Gibbs is one of those guys I love. He's not gonna make it back to me in our league where he's being drafted or where he's gonna be
No,
drafted.
no chance.
Ain't no way he's making out of the first or second round.
No.
So so I'm sad I won't be able to get Gibbs. But like if I had a second round pick, I would try to get him with everything I had. Um, but yeah, Jeremy, I think your team is very high upside.
Yeah, I'd be happy with it. What about your team, Jordan?
So my team, I drafted. What spot did you draft in, Jeremy? You drafted third.
I drafted third. Yeah.
Um, so I drafted 12th, which I actually like drafting from. Again, I don't think a lot of these players will be there in the 12th spot. But I got Trevor Lawrence at my QB, Bijan Robinson, Miles Sanders, Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, and DJ Moore. Didn't pick a defense or a kicker. Then my bench, I got Jahan Dotson, Zay Flowers, Samaji Perine, David Njoku, Anthony Richardson, Michael Gallup, DJ Chark, and Tank Bigsby. I'd be happy with this draft.
That's
I think
not
my
bad.
running backs are my top two are gonna have a they're gonna be those floor players that are gonna score points no matter what. Sanders is gonna be the guy in Carolina, and Bijan is the best thing since sliced bread. Everyone's been saying. After that, my running backs are kind of I don't have that much depth, but I never do. Um, I always try to bet on wide receivers, especially late. I think I'm better at picking wide receivers than I am running backs. So I'd be happy with Dotson, Flowers, and Gallup and Chark as my bench running or my bench wide receivers, and then having DJ Moore at my flex. I'd be happy with that. I think if I left this draft, I'd be very excited.
What did the what did this thing give you as a score?
I got an 89.
89. Okay. So it doesn't
Yep.
care about defense. Okay.
No. Um,
Right.
yeah, I think Stephon Diggs is one of those guys that's going to get targets no matter what. Amari Cooper is still a really good wide receiver, even if his quarterback sucks. Um, and then I'm kind of betting on DJ Moore, which I don't like doing, but yeah, gotta do what you gotta do.
I gotta say, one thing this has taught me is that I do not like the Fantasy Pros draft software. It's more responsive than Yahoo's, but there's a lot less information on the players still on the board
Yeah, it
in
was giving you
Fantasy
suggested
Pros.
players. It was giving you suggested players, right?
Yeah, I was switching between the tabs and like pulling it up by position and
Yeah,
stuff like that and by ADP prediction. But like I feel like in Yahoo you can have 25 people on the screen no problem with all their
yeah,
statistics. But here it's like you get 5 or you got to hit a button.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's kind of to the detriment of the drafters because if you're looking at a guy and you're like, you forget he's there if you don't have him right in front of you. If you're gonna reach for someone or you have someone you like. But yeah, I think this was valuable. You get to see where some people are going or what order they're going in. Um, the different values and the different ways you can pick from different spots.
It is good. It is good to be able to see like how would this go and what does the AI think and how are they ranked. But the hard part, especially for our league, is the keepers and trying to
Yeah.
track all that and then try and figure out, where do we think people are going to go. And like you said, all the variables like Detroit fans, where Gibbs, where did he go here? Gibbs went third round.
No
Is that right?
third
chance.
round.
Yeah.
He's there.
No
Yeah.
way.
So,
Like,
like you said, there's no way. There's just no way. And Goff got picked really late in this, but I don't
yeah,
think he'll be.
He will
I
not
don't
be
think he'll
there
be
this
picked
late.
late. Yeah. So
yeah.
it's going to be interesting. It's always interesting to see like how that affects the Detroit fans, affect everything.
Like Jordan
Something
has
I
2
learned.
players in the first 5. Christian
I
McCaffrey's going to
do.
be gone.
but
Jamar Chase is going to be gone. Saquon Barkley's going to be
Cooper Cup's
gone.
gonna be
Tyreek Hill's
gone.
going to be gone.
Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup. Nah, Najee
Garrett
Harris
Wilson
definitely won't
probably.
be gone. Joe Mixon will
The whole
probably be
first
gone.
round in here. Yeah.
AJ Brown's going to be gone. Amon-Ra. Detroit Homers.
I don't think
Guys-
Mixon's gonna be gone.
You guys see anything in the first round that you disagree with?
Jeremy taking Kelsey third. When Chase is on the board.
Yeah, he won't be on the board though, so that's why I took
Yeah.
Kelsey first because I wanted to pick a team
Yeah.
hypothetically that I would have.
I
Also-
don't think CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard, Wilson. I don't think all 3 of those guys should be in the first round.
I'll be surprised if they go in the first round this year in our draft. I think they're good players. I just think that you have to look at their offenses. Garrett Wilson, I could see finishing as like a top 5 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb though, they changed coordinators. Kellen Moore loved to throw the ball. Mike McCarthy's talking about slowing it down and running it. I love Tony Pollard, especially because there's no real good other running backs besides Deuce Vaughn, who's like 5'3".
Deuce.
What's that?
I just said his name.
Deuce Vaughn, yeah.
Deuce
Chip's taller
Vaughn.
than him.
That's scary.
Yeah, but
Is
I
that
don't know.
true?
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
Look him up.
What's
Look up
his
Deuce
name?
Vaughn.
I will.
Deuce Vaughn.
All right, we don't need to wait.
He's like tiny, but I mean, he makes people miss.
That's, that works. Okay.
But yeah,
Is there
I
anything
think
else
this
you
is
guys wanna talk
valuable.
about?
No, keepers are due the week before the draft. Correct. And the draft is on Labor Day, correct?
I believe that is
Labor Day, that's what I'm hearing. And so a week before Labor Day is when keepers are due, whatever that would be. And so at that point, then it'll give everybody about a week to try and like figure out who's getting kept and how their drafts are going to be. Yeah, their strategy is going to be altered by that. And that always changes everything. So we'll see what happens.
And there's always one guy
The hard
that
part
doesn't tell
too-
you his keepers, and then the day before.
Right.
I'm not talking about AJ. AJ is for AJ had the best possible. I mean, not the best possible, but he had an excuse for why his keepers were not in.
It's hard though because you got to do a lot of research on like even if they're the names of the 2 guys that people are keeping, you have to do a whole lot of research to figure out what round and when did they get taken and if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
and then if they weren't taken the year before,
It
they were
goes up
kept
around.
again. Yeah, it's like
Eternally
it's a
grateful
wild.
for Anthony. doing
Yes,
that
when
now.
he posts like when he figures that out all out, yeah, that must take forever.
But I was gonna say something and I forgot.
All right. Well,
But I
we'll
think
talk
this
to
is a
him next
valuable
week in
experience.
case you remember. Yeah, that was a good time. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you whenever we record next.
All right, guys, see you.